And we are back live from the Kansas City Athletic Club for the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic. This is the men's semifinals, upper bracket, Peixoto versus Nett. My name is Dave Vincent, cameraman Omar Lemus, alongside Dave Fink for this game. Peixoto defeated Will Limp in the round of 16, then went through Nikolai Nahorniak, and now is facing Nett, who defeated Dane Zakowski in the round of 8, and then had that big upset against Alan Garner in the round of 16.
We're almost waiting for it to turn midnight here, Dave, for Cinderella to turn into the 12 seed that he is, but here he is with the Cinderella shoes in tow. Nett, the number 12 seed in the semifinals here at this KCAC WPH 3-wall Pro Stop. He's defeated the number 5 and the number 4 seeds respectively on his way here. Now he'll be taking on the number 1 seed, the current 3-wall national champion, two-time 3-wall national singles champion.
We're going to introduce, we're going to
Peixoto.
President say some stuff, introduce.
Not sure what the holdup here is, Dave.
They were going to flip a coin, and then I guess they put the mic on
Put it on him for right now.
the referee, Tom Dizador. In the lower bracket, Luis Moreno is going to face Dave Chapman right after this one. So get on the phone, start sending emails, tell all of your friends to tune into the live webcast. This webcast has been brought to you by Tom Kopp, John Duma, Terry Peterson, as well as Tequila Harry's, Ed Lappin, Ron Wheeler, the Vietz family, Dave Duckers, Pat Scherzer, Joshua Weaver, as well as Fred Banfield and Mintech, also Jeff Helam and Tucson Rolling Shutters back in Tucson, Arizona, both of those donors helping out, and Sharp and Associates as well from Tucson, Arizona.
Dave, it seems like we might be waiting for that doubles match to come to a conclusion on the next court. They seem to want to play with both courts. What? You're muted.
I think what they're going to do is introduce the players.
You stand next to him. He's good. He's next to him.
That's what the holdup is here. We're going to introduce the players to this crowd who came out. We have sponsors and donors that have come down here to watch these matches with the paid seats that they purchased. And this is packed, Dave. You've been out to this tournament before, but have you seen as many people here wanting to watch?
Honestly, yes.
You're not going to lie, you have seen it before?
Yes, I have.
It's a very rare opportunity to have a player that's supposed to be in the court right now, right here in the web booth. We're in Kansas City, Kansas. We have a crowd here who is going to introduce these semifinal matches here between Nett and Peixoto, as well as Luis Moreno and Dave Chapman. That's the holdup. We're actually going to have an introduction, so you're going to catch it here live on the webcast. So get ready for that. We're going to have a little speech by Nick Scherzer here and referee Tom Dizador, Dave. That's what the holdup is.
It's a little bit annoying, I'm not going to lie. Should have been playing for about 10 minutes by now.
Can I have everybody's attention, please? Can I have your attention? Thank you, guys. Thank you to everybody for coming out this weekend. This is a very exciting event for the KCAC. We got the biggest partner we've ever could ask for in the WPH, coming in from Tucson, Arizona. All our friends from all over the country, from Pittsburgh, from Texas, California, every place in between. I appreciate it so much, guys. Thank you. All places in between. Thank you guys for coming in. I want to do some serious stuff over this real quick. We have to pay tribute to some of our friends. We've had some early departures, and it's always difficult, but let's have a few moments of silence for the guys who departed us earlier this year. Number 1, Mo Cetera. Number 2, Mark Manning. Bill Strawn, national champion. And just last week, we lost Burley Brashears. These are very good friends of the KCAC. These guys are family, and we're not the same without them. We can just have a few moments of silence for those guys. Thanks a lot, everybody. All right, so let's give a second to the Wph, the guys that made this all possible this weekend. It's a national handball organization. I encourage everybody to be a part of this. This is the future of handball. They've done everything they can to put handball into the next generation. I honestly believe this. Without them, handball is not going to be around in the future. We have to be a part of this. This is an organization that wants to evolve, that wants to be in the future, and for our sport to survive, we need them. So let me introduce the WPH president, if I'm saying it right, Fred Lewis. I'll hold it. You just talk next to me.
Thanks to everybody here for putting on this wonderful event. This is my first time at this event, and I have to say, from a historical perspective, this facility, when they write the history of handball, will go down as one of the premier facilities in handball in the United States. You know, there's reasons why I'm saying this, and you know, the main reasons are the courts are AAA rated construction. This area here, what would you call it? The deck? I don't know. The theater. You know, this is wonderful. The spectators are kind of intimate, you know, in kind of a broad sense with the handball players. It just makes, you know, for a wonderful event. Your hospitality, the food, 100%. And from the WPH's perspective, we would love to have a long-term relationship where we come back year after year after year and help make this a wonderful event. So, again, I want to thank Nick and Tommy and everybody else who had anything to do with this, and this is what handball is all about. It's a partnership, and this is the way the sport will continue to grow. And we're going to do everything that we can to get the word out, and hopefully someday every handball player in the country can come to Kansas City and partake of the flavor and the atmosphere that you've all created here. So again, thanks very much.
Thank you, Fred.
Thank you, Fred.
That was a nice speech right there from Fred Lewis. Okay. Now back to Nick Scherzer.
Coming down. Okay, let's play some handball, huh? Yeah! All right. Our first match tonight is the semifinal, the top half of the bracket, the semifinal match. Our first competitor in the bracket is from Winona, Minnesota. He's a multiple state runner-up, but he's obviously taken this tournament by storm with an amazing outdoor game. Nobody saw this coming. From Winona, Minnesota, Andy Nett.
There he is, Andy Nett.
His opponent, the top seed in this bracket, the 2008 KC three-wall champion, and the current defending USHA National three-wall champion, the #1 ranked outdoor handball player in the world, from Santa Clara, California, Emmett Peixoto.
There's Emmett Peixoto making his way onto the court right here. You're watching the men's semifinals match. You saw Nick Scherzer, the tournament organizer. Here comes the song. Fred. Dirty, rotten son of a gun. Yes. There he is. He's been initiated into the...
That was a pretty tough hazing, Dave.
Wow.
That happened. It just happened, actually.
I guess the announcements are still going on here.
So we're there.
Guess they're not leaving there. We're back,
were.
though. Tom Disador is going to be the ref. This is the men's semifinals match. We said it earlier. It was Andy Nett pulling off the upset on paper by defeating Alan Garner in the round of 16, and then he went through Dane Zatkowski in a 11-0 tiebreaker, losing the first one 21-19, winning the second one 21-19, and then Dane never really did get a serve at one time maybe in that tiebreaker. Andy Nett pulls that victory off, and now facing Emmett Peixoto, who had Nikolai Nahorniak in the last round and opening round of Will Limp.
Emmett a little bit of a slow start this morning, trailed 10-1. Looked like Nikolai might be on the upset path, but Emmett righted the ship. Came back to win that first game 21-16 and really cruised in that second game 21-5.
They're about ready to get started here. Bottom bracket will be Luis Moreno versus Dave Chapman right after this one. Get on the internet and get a hold of all of your friends. Tell them to watch this match. Go ahead and give out the link, this direct link that'll allow them to watch this webcast match. We're going to give this one to you for free. WPH members, we appreciate your viewership here on the live webcast over this weekend. If you're watching, you're a non-member, please join the WPH at WPHpass.com. A dry fit shirt will be yours for free, as well as the Dave Chapman 4-wall instructional DVD. We're going to give that to you as well just for joining. That's just a little extra incentive if you join during this live webcast. Here we go. We're going to start this match here in a couple seconds. Tom Disador has introduced himself to the players. We're just going to check his court mic so we can hear the sounds from Tom Disador.
This is almost like the Super Bowl, Dave, with all the pregame hoopla, trying to get this match started.
All right, guys, let's play ball.
Here we go. 0 serve 0. Andy Nett in the white.
0
Is that tough serve down the right wall, Dave? Goes immediately to the left.
That's out.
Point.
Dave, this is actually a rematch of the quarterfinals at the 2009 USHA 3-wall Nationals. Andy scored half as many points as he did already in that match. Nice start there for Andy.
There's 2 quick points now.
2 plays 0.
2 serve 0. There it is. That's that serve over there to the right side. The crowd loves Andy Nett here, Dave.
3 plays 0.
3 serve 0. That serve down the right wall is dangerous.
Hold it. Front foot, Andy.
Called a foot fault.
Surprising there, Dave. That's the first foot fault I've ever seen called outside. Emmett.
Hold it.
Really?
Wow, that's tough. That's really tough.
That's a good call. Didn't put enough on that ball, Dave.
Replay, 3-0.
3 serve 0.
Not enough zip on that ball. Get it by him.
Although it was by him.
I disrespectfully disagree. So chew on that.
That out.
It's in my pocket right now.
That's what I thought, Cherry Blossom.
That's where I do all my chewing.
0 plays 3.
0 serves 3.
Hold it.
So Tom's going to call foot faults now. After a tournament free of foot faulting, even though Bill Mihilos did multiple foot faults in his match against Dave Chapman.
I just think it's nearly impossible to see that foot fault from Tom's vantage point.
1 plays 3. Point.
2 quick points now for Emmett.
2 plays 3. That out.
That's that swing that hurts Emmett's shoulder the most. When that ball comes across his body, he tries to swing at that ball with any power.
Scores 3-2. It's so dangerous, that serve. You can't even do anything with that.
You know, when I saw him hit 29 aces against the Bombshell, I thought a 3-waller would be able to return that ball. Then Dane couldn't. And now I thought, well, the number 1 3-waller would be able to return that serve. But Dave, you know, I'm starting to believe that that serve just can't be returned. Blazing pass shot there from Andy.
We have Ryan Duckers on the left over here and Nick Scherzer over here. Are they line judges?
5 plays 2.
Are they ball boys?
I thought they were ball boys.
Okay.
A lot of blue shirts out there, though.
That's a nice shot.
Real nice. Emmett does well to get that ball back deep.
Well, Emmett earned that side out there.
And he takes himself out of the point too often by hitting with his right hand.
2 plays 5.
Left corner of the court, Dave. Opens up the whole court. That's a nice return there from Andy. Looked like he should have shot that ball. He didn't. It's a good safe shot there. See, I like how he takes that ball with his left there. Dave, maybe that's why he takes the ball with his right.
We're going to replay it.
That ball had no chance to make it to the front wall, Dave, and they're playing a replay because of a ridiculous house rule that they have here at the KCAC.
That's unbelievable.
That ball had no chance.
That one didn't either.
Yeah.
That ball was not going to make it either.
Let's see what he calls here.
Did call a point.
3 play 5.
They called that play over, though?
How's the point?
Yeah, their rule is that if it ever hits that light, it's an automatic replay.
No, I called it down. I call it a point.
Now Andy disagreeing with referee Tom Disidor.
It wouldn't have made it.
I don't think Tom's doing a good job here, Dave. He's called foot faults that I didn't think were foot faults.
3 plays 5.
3 serves 5.
That's just not deep enough in the court. You see Emmett firmly in the middle of the court there. And he has to find a way to force Emmett
shot there.
off balance. There's a setup. Look at that power, Dave. That ball hits the floor, Dave, actually hops and skids at the same time. Makes that ball impossible to pick up.
Jack. Here you go. 5 plays 3.
You heard the score, 5-3, first game, men's semis. Andy Nett serving to Emmett Peixoto.
Gets away with a nice miss hit there. Andy Nett hit that ball off his thumb and it hooked into that left side wall.
6 plays 3.
We've only seen Andy hit one of those great serves down the right thus far, Dave.
Had a strange bounce.
Doesn't look like Emmett's hitting the ball with the right height with those right-handed overhand drives. We'll see if he makes that adjustment.
3 plays 6.
3 serves 6.
We saw him hit an ace with that serve earlier, and there's another one. Andy's had the most trouble in this event, Dave, with that overhand serve. We saw Dane ace him a couple of times with a lob serve, overhand lob.
4 plays 6.
We've seen Emmett with 2 aces thus far.
Dane just comes in and takes it out of the air.
Oh, that's Andy.
Excuse me, Andy. He's done that a lot. Not against Emmett, obviously, here, but he did it with Dane.
Great left there. Emmett fights that ball off.
Replay it.
Andy should have taken that ball out of the air, Dave. Didn't.
Replay 4-6.
4 serves 6. That's tough.
Yep.
Point. That's good.
Andy just looks really confused
5 plays 6.
with that overhand delivery. You know, it makes sense, Dave, because Andy's used to that sidearm power serve. You know, he comes out here and sees that overhand delivery. He's a little bit discombobulated. Andy made no attempt at that ball. That ball was way out.
Together at 6.
And that's pretty much what I expected to see here, Dave, in this match. Emmett just pushing Andy back and fly killing balls from the short line area.
Andy is not strong from deep in the court. We've seen that already this tournament. His strength is when he can put his power right about here. That's where Andy is very strong right there. Emmett's actually right here, and you've went through that pain too.
Well, I have nothing to say about this crowd.
6 plays
So
7.
I won't.
6 or 7.
Hold it. Front foot, Andy.
Front foot fault from the referee there.
Very disruptive to the rhythm of this game.
Second serve.
Very unnecessary. You know, Dave, we have the best vantage point. I haven't seen any foot faults.
Well, you're supposed to be reffing this.
Well, this is what happens when I don't do my job. But we decided my talents were better served up here. Not sure many people would agree.
7 plays 6.
7 plays 6. Right in the corner. Nope. Emmett goes straight in instead. Look how far that ball comes back, Dave.
Interestingly, Dave, I did talk to Emmett about that shot he hit from the back left corner when he hit that left side wall first and the ball straightened out. He said that's a shot he's learned over the years. He saw Sean Lenning do it to him so often, and he learned that that's the kind of shot that just will hit the side wall, pick up about 20 miles per hour, and straighten out.
So he did do it on purpose?
Yes.
I told you he did do it on purpose.
Well, it's funny. I went in during warm-ups and practiced that shot, and I saw exactly what he's talking about. If you hit that ball for a right-hander standing on the left wall, and actually with an open hand, hit the side wall first, the left side wall first, then the ball is going to hit the front wall. It comes straight back. It's nearly impossible to play. You might want to try that match in your C semifinal match tonight.
Racquetball players do it a lot when they hit the ball, too. It's what they call a racquetball shot.
Actually, the racquetball would not react that way on the side wall, so they wouldn't do that.
They actually do it, and you need to watch racquetball every now and then.
I do.
Obviously you don't. Ektelon Fireball Classic here in Kansas City. I know it's hard to believe, but Dave Fink doesn't get along with the crowd, nor those that he broadcasts next to.
Why would I?
You hate everybody, except for your wife. That was a quick 60 seconds.
Hold on.
The crowd is actually cheering here.
Looks like we need another ball retriever.
Anthony Orrell.
All right, guys, that was a point. 8 plays 6.
Not sure we need these ball retrievers, Dave. I'm surprised Emmett didn't take that ball out of the air.
Smart, though.
Emmett just sees the opening so well.
Hold it. Sorry.
Our referee had an opportunity to just stop that ball and instead let it go into the other court, causing that disruption.
9 plays 6.
9 serve 6. Overhand serves amazing.
That's the ball that we see Emmett grab his shoulder on more often than not when he tries to hit that right-hand kill cross court. Puts a lot of pressure on your shoulder.
6 plays 9.
6 serves 9. See if Andy goes down the right or left here.
That's a nice shot there from Andy. Really took his time there, Dave, and took something off of that kill. Beautiful finish
7
there.
plays 9. Hold it.
Look at that. Every good serve that Andy has gotten here, every ace has been taken back by a foot fault. I haven't seen any of those foot faults, have you? What am I looking at?
I haven't seen one either. I'm frustrated now watching this match.
I don't feel like I want to watch it anymore.
I feel like I might need to go down there and take over the reffing responsibility, Dave.
Nice get right there from Emmett. Now he's back into this rally.
Great kill there from Andy.
Well, if Andy can't do it with that serve, then he's going to have to do it in the rally.
8 plays 9.
8 serves 9.
Point.
I try to close it.
Serve right there.
Close it out with a fist pump.
Together 9. Point.
That ball just clips that side wall and skids.
Oh, let me see him. Okay. 2 minutes.
Emmett asking for
Score is 10, plays 9.
glove change, and he's going to get it. 10-9 is the score here with Andy Nett in the lead after 3 straight points on that tremendous serve. He could have had probably, I think, 3 more that were all aces that have been called back. Every one of his aces on that right wall have been foot faults.
All but one. It's very frustrating to watch from up here. We want to see these guys at their best. We haven't seen any of the foot faults that have been in question.
Well, earlier, the Bill Mihilos match, he was going over by a foot, 1 whole foot on every one of the serves. None of those were called. Here, I haven't even seen one. I've been looking for it, too. You're watching the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic Men's Semifinals. Camera operator Omar Lemus. In the color commentary booth, we have Dave Fink, yours truly, Dave Vincent. We appreciate the fact that you're watching this webcast back home, wherever you're at.
Jim, we had a national tournament there. We had the national juniors there, the world juniors.
Andy with a nice comeback here. Really looked like Emmett had picked up all the momentum here and was on his way to a pretty easy first game win, despite leading only 9-6. It just really felt like the momentum had shifted entirely in Emmett's favor. Now Andy's come back and scored 4 consecutive points. Dave, as a player, it's very difficult when you've had foot faults called on you. That sort of becomes the focus of your serve rather than where you want to hit the serve. You're more worried about that front foot than actually your serve.
Well, we had Mike Gardner in here, pro player that's made it as high as number 4 on the Pro Tour back in Fred Lewis's day, back when he was playing Fred and Paul Haber and Jimmy Jacobs. And he mentioned the same thing. You start focusing, he said, just on the foot. And he said, when you start thinking, that ruins everything in handball.
You want everything to be instinctual, particularly when you get in that groove and all you're thinking about is
All right, that was a point. 10,
hitting that
plays
spot
9.
that you're aiming for on the serve. Last thing you want to think about is that front foot.
Here it is, serve 10-9, first game.
Point.
A little congestion over there.
Surprised that wasn't called a hinder. I think we kind of have a bad angle at that, or at least I do, Dave, because it looked like that ball nearly hit Andy and Emmett didn't have much of a swing at, but there was no complaint there from Emmett.
11, plays 9.
11 plays 9. No foot fault called.
Dave, this game more than any other just promotes power. You can get away with just blasting
9.
the ball as hard as you can.
12 plays 9.
In 3-1, and it's really never a bad shot. If you're able to hit the ball as hard as Andy, Emmett just not swing with any authority with his right now, Dave. Just really almost pushing that ball back. Let's see if we can pick up on that.
Smart play there.
See, Emmett takes that overhand shot with his left. That's a ball that every player would take with his strong hand right there in 3-wall, Dave. We'd see every player back themselves into that left side wall, take that ball with his right. Emmett chose to try and hit a very difficult cross corner kill there. I think Emmett thought that serve was out.
It was in.
Okay.
That's out though.
Point. You challenging? What are you challenging?
I thought it was out.
The ball? No, the ball was out. The ball was out. No, you're appealing the serve. Okay. I called it good.
They see it good?
Point.
Emmett and I apparently are seeing the same things out
I
there,
saw
Dave.
2 inches over the line.
14 plays 9.
In front of the line.
In front, sorry.
Okay.
Boy, that ball just skids.
That ball's in.
Look at that shot.
Not good enough, though. Emmett doesn't do anything with it, though.
That's going to check up.
You see, Emmett just does nothing with that ball. And another one, Dave.
There's the power fist.
It should be a setup there.
I like that shot.
Should put this away.
Hold it.
How often do you see it, Dave? A 41-shot rally ends with a screen ball.
Almost every time, actually.
You know, Emmett has not ended a point with a kill shot, Dave, since he got that 9th point to take the 9-6 lead. Andy now on a, let's listen for the score.
Replay, 14-9.
Andy on an 8-0 run. In those 8 points, Dave, Emmett has not ended one rally with a kill. And believe me, Dave, that is something that's on your mind when you're in there.
Side out.
You see Emmett earns the side out there with a nice 2-wall return. Andy trying to take that ball before it gets to the sidewall.
Score is 9 plays 14.
9-14 will be the call when they resume play. Andy Nett taking a 60-second timeout. Ektelon Fireball Classic. It started in Tucson, Arizona in late April, or late March, early April. It started March 31st and then ended April 4th. 5 days of handball there in Tucson, Arizona. That started as a qualifier for 4-wall. They had a women's pro stop, men's pro stop, and then went outside. And there was a 1-wall championship that Willie Polanco won as he defeated Robert Sostry. Dave Chapman defeated Owen Kennedy in the 4-wall, and Megan Michelis defeated Samantha England.
There was some talk there, Dave, as to why we didn't play 3-wall as well at that event.
And we had all the courts.
Yes.
Running out of money, and players were starting to get tired.
Not when you lose in the first round. There's a lot of those. Actually, half the field lose in the first round. I would know. I'm one of them. We'll see if Emmett can get himself back into his groove here.
9 plays 14.
9 plays 14. That's deep.
We saw Emmett had a lot of success with that overhand serve, Dave, and now going back to that sidearm serve. Here's the overhand serve. That's not a very good serve.
Oh,
that ball was not going to make it.
And the point was granted. That was a terrible
call there from just terrible. That's about the easiest serve Andy will see all match, and he just spiked that ball into the ground.
Actually hit Emmett in the back with it, but it was on its way to the ground. 10-14 now.
10 plays 14.
That's another bad serve. And he doesn't do anything with it.
I'm going to replay that.
Oh,
sorry.
Tough.
Yeah, it's we saw this happen, Dave, at the Fireball Classic. A referee had to be replaced in the middle of the game, and I think we're pretty much getting to that point.
Emmett did not realize that Andy was on his back foot.
No, he did. He mishit that ball. Emmett was trying to kill that ball and mishit it. Actually, mishit that ball that he did just kill there. We'll see if that can give Emmett a little bit of confidence that he finally ends a point with a kill shot.
2 points down in a row.
11 plays 14.
11-14, first game. That was a terrible timeout from Andy Nett. Now 3 straight points for Emmett.
12 plays 14.
I think Andy was a little bit winded after that long rally. There's an ace.
Deep.
Okay.
Oh, it was
just
called
out.
deep.
I think that was out. I spoke too soon.
Second serve.
I saw it just over the line, just like you did.
Not a good serve from Emmett. Not a bad return. Now Andy can take over this rally here, but just hits that ball right down the middle of the court.
That's going to be tough.
There, that's too good.
Look at that. It actually makes the front wall. And he's back in the play again. There's that power ceiling. I don't know how Andy's able to catch up to those balls. Tall, lanky, athletic, and then he's able to get him back, but get back into the play.
I don't know how Emmett's not able to put those setups away with Andy 60 feet from the front wall.
13 plays 14.
13-14.
Point.
Now Andy's lost 5 consecutive points. Emmett really hasn't done anything spectacular. Andy's made a number of unforced errors here on this 5-0 run from Emmett.
Together at 14. Deep.
It's a good call.
Second serve.
That's going to check up. Emmett's going to go down the left. There it is.
Point.
Andy looks a little bit gassed right now, Dave. Actually wearing 2 shirts out here. Andy is.
15.
A wife beater and another wife beater. Gosh, how does he get the...
Emmett cut that one a little bit too close for comfort. Emmett rolled that ball about 2 inches high. All he had to do was hit the wall. I think had he known Andy was up in the 4th row.
16, plays 14.
16 to 14.
Hold it.
Called a foot fault there.
I thought that was a screen.
You're good. You're good.
Might have been
Foot
a screen.
fault.
Foot fault. No,
Foot.
you just said
Second
foot fault. That's the 7th foot fault called now.
Point. It's your last time out, Andy. Score is 17 plays 14.
17 to 14. The last time Andy called a timeout, he was winning 14 to 9. And now Emmett scored 8 unanswered points.
That's right. Emmett now leads 17 to 14. Andy's level has just really dropped off here, Dave, in this 8-0 run. You know, you expect the #1 seed to get himself back into the game with his own great play, but it hasn't really necessarily happened here. Emmett just playing below average handball by his standards, and yet finds himself in the lead here, 17-14, mostly by virtue of Andy's collapse here in the last 8 points.
This is game number 1. Emmett Peixoto versus Andy Nett. Andy got by Dane Zatkowski earlier today, an 11-0 tiebreaker. In the bottom bracket, awaiting this one, semifinal matchup between Luis Moreno and David Chapman. But first, it's Emmett Peixoto with his 17-14 lead here.
15 seconds.
He was once down 14 to 9, but has scored 8 consecutive points since Andy Nett called that last timeout, and Andy called the timeout.
Andy's now out of timeouts. You saw Andy try and ask for a glove change at 16-14, was denied, lost the next point, and called his 3rd and final timeout at 17-14.
Here it is. Here's the serve.
17 plays 14.
17 to 14.
Not a good serve.
Wow, that ball just hit a crease or something. What is that?
No, we play.
That was a terrible bad bounce there.
Huh? Okay. 2-minute glove change. 14-17.
That was a terrible. I know the house rules say you play everything here, but that ball hits a crack and just checks up immediately. Comes straight out.
Before the tournament.
Well, I agree with that. Very rarely would you play a court hinder in 3-wall, and I think just in keeping with that. You know, Dave, we talked a lot about the ball skidding on the ground. The ball actually skids on the sidewall as well. They're not replaying those, and I agree with the call here to not replay that sort of awkward bounce there off that left side wall.
You're watching the Ektelon Fireball WPH 3-wall Handball Classic here in Kansas City, Kansas. Dave Vincent alongside Dave Fink and Omar Lemus. It's the first semifinal match of the day. There's only 2 of them, but this is the first one. First game with Emmett Peixoto in the lead here by the score of 17 to 14. Andy Nett, though, stepping back into the server's box. Now, Andy should have 3 more points, but he doesn't have them because...
Who knows how many more points he'd have had he not been worried about the foot faults for this entire game, because it could have drastically changed his serve. He could have gotten on one of those service runs that we saw him get on in that tiebreaker against Dane, where he served out 9 consecutive aces. So there's no telling how many points the foot faults have cost him.
Also, Emmett has been called with 2 foot faults, and he certainly could have
30 seconds.
Gotten a couple points off his, but Andy's were clear aces on all 3 of his.
Yeah, I mean, if you're not a good short hopper.
We've had 8 foot faults now called in this match. So far, we're just in the first game. Tom Disidor is clearly looking at the foot fault line.
I know, as a referee, Dave, if you're looking for a foot fault, it's nearly impossible to call the serve short or good, because it's just not enough time to refocus your eyes.
Scherzer. 14 plays 17.
Score is 14 to 17. Let's see if Andy seems to be more toward the right wall when he goes down the right side, and a little bit toward the left when he goes down the left.
That's a nice point there from Andy. Very nice deep serve there, and it just barely gets that ball back.
17.
Andy rolls it.
Oh, look at that serve, and it's
Emmett
dug
does
up.
really want to get that ball back. That's the best shot.
Replay that.
Oh, that was a terrible, terrible call there, Dave. I was just saying that was the best shot I've seen Andy hit all tournament. Just a beautiful left-handed kill. Emmett had no chance of getting that ball.
You recall Andy doing that
Replay
against
15,
Dane with his
17.
left hand deep over here. Remember that ball that was about 8 inches off the front wall?
I actually don't.
44 feet back.
That was just a terrible call.
It's a replay. And then he hits it
Right
into
out.
the ground. Got into his head, he said.
Andy actually was moving something off the court. It looked like a piece of lint or something, and Andy was thinking about it rather than thinking about that
17 plays
serve.
15.
He said it got into his head, a piece of lint.
Deep.
Yep. That ball looked like it was right on the line. No appeal.
Second serve.
How does Andy get that back?
Point.
His long arms.
'18 plays 15.
18 serves 15. That's deep.
Deep. Front foot, Emmett. Second serve.
Boy, that's such a tough serve,
Point.
Dave.
Looks like that ball is going to bounce into that side wall, but it straightens out. I don't really see any reason for Emmett to hit this
19
first serve he's
plays
hitting. He's had
15.
much more success with that overhand serve. You see that? That's right in Andy's wheelhouse, that first serve of Emmett's.
Andy pushing Emmett off balance with some of that power.
Just a terrible decision right there from Andy. That's not a good shot, even if it makes it.
'20 plays 15.
20 serves 15. Possible game.
I think this actually works to Emmett's favor when he faults on his first serve because he can hit that overhand drive. I'm surprised
Second
he doesn't
serve.
just stick with that overhand drive on every serve, Dave. Here's a setup.
That should do it.
Point.
Andy wanted a screen on that, but not going to get it. Emmett takes the first game, 21-15. Emmett Peixoto defeats Andy Nett in the first game. We have game number 2 coming up in about 5 minutes. We're at the 3-wall courts in Kansas City, KCAC, the Wph Ektelon Fireball Classic. We're going to be back for Omar Lemus and Dave Fink. My name is Dave Vincent. You stick with us. We'll be back in just a few seconds. And we are back. The start of the second game. Emmett Peixoto serving to Andy Nett. Look at that ball. It actually comes back forward.
That was a 4-wall shot.
One
front wall, ceiling, sidewall. Actually, that's just 3.
Hold it.
Andy missed a pretty easy opportunity there, Dave. You can't miss those opportunities in 3-wall when you're playing against the top players, because any opportunity to get into that server's box, Dave, could mean 3 to 5 or more points. We've seen that. It looks to me, Dave, like Emmett's really acclimated himself to Andy's power. We saw Emmett a little bit slow to react to Andy's power in that first game, but looks to me, Dave, that Emmett's just all over every shot Andy's got right now. Emmett very much in his comfort zone, swing within himself.
Right out.
Actually looked like Andy was going for that, Dave. That did not look like a lucky shot. That looked like what he was aiming for.
0 plays 1.
That actually did look like a footfall to me, Dave, on that serve.
Point.
That ball went out onto the street where some of the patrons who were unable to get tickets to this match, Dave, are hanging out outside, hoping that some of the overflow comes out and there'll be a seat open for them. Didn't see the ball come out, though.
1 plays 1.
They didn't go after the ball, did they? Boy, that ball just like it just skids on the ground.
Here's a setup. Total miss hit there from Andy. And a worse miss hit from Emmett.
Point.
Hard to believe, Dave, 2 guys at this level could miss hit 2 shots consecutively that badly.
2 plays 1.
2 serves 1. Game number 2. After you said that Emmett was adjusting to his power.
Well, Emmett put that return on a tee for him. Difficult for anyone to handle that kind of heat coming at you. There's a nice serve there.
Point.
Great serve from Andy. I think what Andy needs to do here, Dave, is just mix that serve up right and left, short and deep. With his power, Dave, and his delivery, very difficult to read. You see that right there, Dave?
Point.
We both thought he was going left there. The head fake at the last second, he goes right and catches the crack.
I was actually looking at the foot, and I did not see where that ball...
Let's see if we can guess where he's going here. I did see him going left there. But, you know, Dave, Andy's got so much heat on that ball that even if Emmett guesses right, it's still a difficult return. Let's not forget, Dave, that we did just bring in a brand new handball here because that last ball is on the street, and that's a big advantage to Andy. And I think that's a big reason you're seeing this run of serves. That's 4 consecutive points, all on serves for Andy. It's that new ball. And we heard Dane say that in the tiebreaker. What happened? I want that dead ball back in here.
Wow, look at that shot right there from Andy.
Great strength there from Andy, Dave. That's a very difficult shot. He's taking that ball off his back foot with an open stance, his shoulders facing the front wall, and still has enough strength to roll that ball in the right corner. Just a tremendous serve right there. And smartly takes a timeout right there.
8 plays 1.
The score is 8-1 here, and Andy serves. I mean, they're unbelievable, aren't they, Dave?
This is really incredible, Dave. You've got to give Andy just so much credit here. And we've had to say that throughout this event, and he deserves all of it. He just keeps battling back. Andy was 2 points from being knocked out of this tournament in the quarterfinals, trailed 19-16 against Dane after losing the first game, came back to score 5 consecutive points, won that game, and match 11-0 in the tiebreaker. Let's not forget against Alan Garner, Dave, the best win of his life to that point. Andy led throughout that first game. Alan caught him at 17. Looked like, you know, the number 3 player in the world was asserting himself and, you know, taking control, but Andy comes right back in there, scores the last 4 of the last 5 points, and wins that first game and cruises in the second game. So Andy is not unaccustomed to playing through a little bit of adversity. He understands the momentum swings out here, Dave. He's got a really good, calm demeanor about him. He's really able to play through anything that's going on. Not everyone has that quality. Not going to mention names, but there are those.
Hey, Gouch.
You're watching the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic here in Kansas City, Kansas. Emmett Peixoto wins game number 1 of the semifinal 21-15, and now we are...
Let's not forget, David, trailing 15-17 in that first game. Andy hit that beautiful left-handed fly kill that Tom called a screen. That would have given him 16, and said Andy gets back in there and serves at 15-17 and serves the ball in the ground. Didn't score another point. Not sure what kind of shot that is from Andy.
Oh, but he catches up with that Emmett Peixoto shot.
He's going to wish he hadn't. A lot of running for nothing. That's what that is, Dave. Andy just a real easy setup there, coming off that timeout, and just paddled that ball about 4 feet high. Not a good serve there from Emmett.
Wow, look at that shot. And the crowd is behind Andy Nett here. The score is 8-1.
Well, he's the NDB, the Minnesota Dreamboat. I don't know what those initials were. Not even close. Let's see if he can drive this ball straight down the right. Not quite high enough or close enough to the wall. You know, Dave, it's amazing. We watch Andy throughout these matches. He's improving his 3-wall game with each point.
I agree.
Like we saw him in that first match against Alan Garner, just unbelievably uncomfortable and erratic from the backcourt. We saw him improve just a little bit against Dane, and now we see him in the backcourt looking like a 3-wall veteran.
Like he's been doing it forever. He was so uncomfortable in the first round of this pro tournament.
1 plays 8.
1 serves 8.
I'm surprised Emmett took so much off that serve. And Andy, just an inexplicable error. We'll see if this is the beginning of the same kind of run where Andy just saw his game completely decline there, leading 14-8 in that first game. And here it is again.
Point.
This is exactly the beginning of what we saw, Dave, in that first game when Andy led 14-9 and then ended up losing 8 consecutive points. That's a good shot there from Emmett.
Now 3 straight points from Emmett Peixoto.
And like we said, Emmett's not doing anything special right now. He's just
4 plays 8.
Pounding that serve deep to Andy's left. And he gets that ball back.
Very athletic move from Andy Nett. Give Andy some credit on that power fist to the ceiling, although Emmett gets the point.
Emmett has a nice reverse on that left, really came over that ball and ran it down the side wall. Good looking shot.
Point.
Score is 6-8. Timeout called here at the courts in Kansas City where we play 3-wall.
Almost like Andy doesn't like his own success, builds a big lead for himself, and then just completely lets down.
Well, he gets that big lead mainly off that serve, and if you get him in the server's box and he gets any type of rhythm, watch out. He has a huge serve. Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic here on the internet. If you like these events, please join the WPH. Go to the handballstore.com. It's thehandballstore.com. Buy your balls, your gloves, your memberships, your DVDs, and support these pro events. And we'll get more of these on the live webcast for you.
Actually have a beer service here, Dave, for the well-hydrated folks out in the gallery. And by well-hydrated, I mean drunk.
15 seconds.
I kid, but I don't.
You're kidding, but you're actually serious.
Very.
60 seconds is over. Emmett Peixoto on a 5-0 run here.
Okay, that was a point. 6 plays 8.
6 plays 8.
Point.
Just more of the same, Dave. It's the 4th unreturned serve. That serve was very average, even below average.
Deep.
That ball was deep. Replay.
Ball was good.
That's one of the best shots I've seen all tournament right there, Dave. It looks simple, but just to drive that ball with that kind of power straight back to the back line, keep it in the court.
Going to the left.
Not a good serve there from Andy.
Up.
The more confident Andy gets, the closer that serve gets to that right side wall. When he gets in there and he's not in the serving rhythm, Dave, that serve comes to the middle of the court. It's very ineffective. There's a great serve right there. Squelches that ball into the right side wall, and that ball is just dead.
Surprise, there's no foot fault called on that.
10, play 7.
Actually, the ref was spoken to between games.
Point.
What was said to the ref?
Well, that's off the record.
Can you just paraphrase what you heard?
It's something along the lines of let the players
11,
play.
play 7.
That certainly benefits Andy Nett.
That's very unlucky there for Andy Nett because Emmett would not have been able to return that ball, Dave. That ball was right at Emmett's feet. There's no way he could have returned that.
I cannot believe this. The referee is not going to allow that to be a hinder.
I'm going to call a point.
They just made contact over here, Dave. You saw it.
Yeah, but it was after you hit the ball.
Yeah, see, now you have a line judge. Yeah, can you appeal?
Yes. You can. Actually,
I don't know if that's
I'm not sure.
Disidor saying that's not appealable.
Scherzer's saying that Emmett could have returned that ball.
I don't even know if that's appealable. I'm going to call a point. I'm calling a point.
What are you talking about? Why is it a point?
Because after you hit it, you ran into each other.
I think what Emmett's saying is he could have gotten that ball back, and it's just one of those really unfortunate situations right now, Dave.
Because after you hit the ball,
I think ultimately you do have to play that ball over. The chances of Emmett getting that ball back, Dave, because that ball was hopping at his feet.
There was almost an accident right there.
There was some contact.
12 plays 7.
The judgment call from our referee is that Emmett couldn't have returned that ball whether that player was in his way or not.
I'm very surprised that this isn't being played over.
So that was called a point then?
Yes.
Point.
Okay.
Now it's 2 straight points here.
Well, it's actually more than 2. Andy's been in the server's box for about 6 here.
13, play 7.
Score is 13-7. Just an unbelievable serve right there.
Point.
Just an amazing serve. Emmett really needs to get that call out of his head because it's just 1 point and it's easy to say from here. I mean, 14, I know I'm good at putting those things behind me, but Emmett needs to put that out of his head right now, Dave.
That was a foot fault there.
This is really the first time I've seen Emmett come unglued here in this event.
Well, rightly so. He ran into a guy from another court.
I agree. I'm just saying there's
so frustrating.
Green.
That was another bad call. There's nothing that can be done about that call now, though, Dave. Certainly, there's a dispute there. Just don't. This is a double fault here, by the way. I'm going to go out on the record and predict it.
No, second serve.
The referee called a screen. That ball was actually short.
My fault.
I actually thought that ball was good, and I didn't think it was a screen. So,
So we've got 4 different. I saw it short. I saw
not a good shot there. Nice drive there from Emmett.
Emmett's not happy right now.
Well, I think he could actually use that and fuel himself to push himself a little bit harder right now. Pick up a little bit more power. Use some of that anger. Put it towards what he's trying to do. Just a really inexplicable miss there from Andy. He jumped backwards, he lifted his front foot, he pulled his head and just whiffed a pretty easy shot. There's nice playing there from Emmett.
Now Emmett's very focused. Look at him. I'm not going to repeat what Emmett just said, but it was give me the expletive ball.
So you did repeat what he said?
Well, not necessarily.
You said you weren't going to repeat it, but you did.
I can't repeat word by word,
second serve.
Of course.
Actually, we're on the internet. You can. You can just... You can see the renewed energy in Emmett's game right now, Dave. That there's a new intensity and there's a new energy that Emmett's bringing to the
14.
court right now. Emmett looked a little bit lethargic here for much of this match. Now, just really on top of his game. Turned it up a level. That's what the great players have. They've got that extra gear.
11 plays 14.
We're seeing Emmett's right now.
11 to 14.
Not a good return there from Andy. Miss hit, and Emmett will take care of that.
Rumor has it from the gallery that, and of course Andy would never say anything, but his left shoulder is completely numb and he strained it in an earlier match. And so some of those weird, strange swing and misses and unorthodox shots. And Emmett's exploiting Andy's left on every single shot.
That's out. Well left there by Emmett. This is what we've seen, Dave, throughout this match. Andy builds a lead and just gives it back.
Builds a lead and gives it back.
This is the first time we've really seen Emmett step up his game to bring himself back into the match. The other two leads that Andy had just gave them back to Emmett.
13 plays 14.
Now we're seeing why Emmett's the #1 seed and the current national champion. This is the kind of play that's made him the national champion. Emmett leaves that ball hanging in the right corner and Andy takes care of it. Nice shot there from Andy. Dave, he takes that ball from the right corner and redirects it straight off the front wall to his left.
14
Not an easy
13.
shot.
14 serves 13.
Not a great serve there from Andy. Completely off balance. The crowd saying, oh, but really not a good shot there, Dave.
13 plays 14.
Nice finish, nice close, nice finish. That's something we didn't see from Andy in his last two matches, Dave. The ability to run forward, set his feet, and kill the ball. We've seen him run forward a little bit off balance.
13.
Not be able to execute that shot, but that's just the maturation of the Minnesota Dreamboat's three-wall game, and that's
Look
an ace.
Look at that.
Just a great serve right there.
Now he's starting to get the crowd behind him again. It's 16 to 13.
I think it's 15.
No, it's 16.
Okay.
That's the second point here.
15 plays 14.
I was right.
I'm sorry about that.
That was his first time in the server's box here. There's another great get there from Emmett. Not a good shot there from Andy. And a worse shot right there.
Man.
Andy really just blew a great opportunity there.
If he does not
change him, 2 minutes.
Survive this match, he could go home and say, I had my opportunities and I did not capitalize on them.
That's absolutely true. We talked about the opportunity at 15-17 in the first game, and now another great opportunity here for the Dreamboat.
You're watching the Wph Ektelon Fireball Handball Classic. If you buy a Wph membership and support these pro stops, you will get a free t-shirt as well as a Dave Chapman instructional DVD, plus all of the other goodies that go along with whatever you're purchasing there with that membership package. You can do so at WPHpass.com. There's also a membership contest going on right now. You sign up people to become members, Dave. For each person that you sign up, we mark your name down on a piece of paper. The winner will receive $1,000 in cash. And the person that takes second place is going to get some good prizes.
We all know how popular the Random Acts of Handball contest became.
Oh yeah, that was a popular one. And
some people submitted 4 videos.
That's true. And this one is just equally as popular. You have a chance to win $1,000 in cash. Sign up the most people. You have to have a minimum of 10 sign-ups in order to qualify for that $1,000.
So it's conceivable that no one could get the 1,000.
I believe that Chip Morales is over 10 already. Actually, Dave Chapman and Chip Morales are both over 10, and Robert Fox is getting pretty close in Ireland.
Robert Fox, the stepson of Tom Sheridan. Is that correct, Dave?
That's right.
Okay.
And Evan Sheridan, stepbrother of Evan, they both played in the 13 and under 4-wall national championship here.
Who won that match?
Robert Fox in a tiebreaker.
The
outsider came in and
heard very good things about both of their games, Dave. They will most likely be featured in the next generation, the article coming out in the next WPH magazine highlighting the top junior talent across the world.
Can't wait to read it. This is the longest 2-minute glove change you've ever seen.
You know, you say that, but you don't have any empirical data to back it up.
He's down.
The WPH stopwatch.
Which you're not using.
It's the DVD recorder that has the minute and second hand on it. That's what I go off of.
I want to miss my flight.
All right, let's play ball. Hold on.
We've got the line judges with ribs in their hands.
Interesting.
Scores 14 plays 15.
14 serves 15.
I saw that at Wimbledon this year.
Now it's 15 to 15.
Andy just does not come back from timeouts ready to play.
15-15.
Notice that about his
Together
game,
at 15.
Dave. It's almost like he needs to warm up again following a timeout. Surprised that Emmett would miss that shot at such a crucial moment here in this match.
15 plays 15.
That ball just gets over the line, and that is a point. You saw Luis Moreno do that to you a few times in your match where you hit that
15.
second wall. The ball just practically stops up
Not
there.
a good serve there from Andy.
Andy just stepped on Emmett's foot.
You all right?
Andy was upset with himself
Injury
and he kind of
timeout?
stomped his foot right on Emmett's
50
toes.
minutes then.
Really?
I believe that's what just happened here.
Okay. I thought Emmett might have jammed his finger there. No?
I know when Andy just spun around there and slammed his foot down, I think there was contact with Emmett. He didn't know Emmett was right underneath him.
Did he stomp on Emmett's hand?
Yeah.
Are you saying it's a finger?
I thought Emmett jammed his finger on that
Holy cow.
attempted pickup.
All he needed was a cigarette holder.
What's the call here?
This is an injury timeout.
Injury.
What?
Of what?
That's what I thought. Emmett hurt his shoulder there on that shot that won him the rally. Andy served that ball off the right side wall. Emmett took a swing with his right hand, aggravated that chronic right shoulder injury that he's got going, Dave.
So Emmett re-injures
Emmett actually telling me that he's just not enjoying the game as much as he used to, Dave, because he can't play the way he wants to play because of the pain in his right shoulder.
Emmett's back. I guess that's about a minute worth of injury time.
He still has 14 minutes left of injury time. Technically, Dave, you're not granted injury time if it's a pre-existing injury. We've never seen a referee invoke that rule, but that is, by the letter of the law, the rule. That's an ace.
It seems like Emmett gets an ace on that. He comes out for an injury timeout with a shoulder, and then he goes with a shot that's a real shoulder type shot, overhand.
I actually think that shot's more legs than shoulder.
Really?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I think the most strain on the shoulders. I knew that was going to happen. And he just...
We cannot hear the score from the referee here.
Too slowly.
Let's turn that on. Listen for the score.
17 plays 16.
17 serves 16.
There's an ace. I'm surprised that Andy's being aced with these serves, Dave, because these are not the type of serves that you can't react to.
You have one. You have two left. Yep. Timeout. That was a point. The score is 18 plays 16. 1 minute.
Timeout here, Andy Nett. Emmett's come in and quickly scored 3 points. Now leads 18 to 15.
Actually, I believe that Andy has 16 points here.
Oh, okay. You could be right.
It would be a first. The crowd is packed here eating I guess beef ribs or pork ribs. Is that pork ribs? Pork ribs and chicken, barbecue chicken. And you're a vegetarian, so all you heard was blah, 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 blah.
I heard it. I know exactly what people are eating.
$18 serve 16.
Nice ceiling ball there from Andy. That's an even nicer drive there from Emmett. Surprised Emmett's not moving himself in the middle of the court. Andy just hitting these balls straight down the middle. These are easy fly kill opportunities, Dave. Emmett's just not taking advantage of them. That's
a nice shot right there, though.
A much better shot. Oh.
Jesus.
Wow.
That was a little bit scary there, Dave. Emmett at nearly full speed crashing into the front row.
That was unbelievable.
Side out,
unbelievable,
score 16,
Dave.
plays 18.
That was a little bit frightening there.
That was short.
Point.
That was way short.
That was short by
Called it good.
4 inches.
One agrees, one disagrees. That's a point.
Who said it was on the line in the crowd? They need to go home.
That ball was inside the line, Dave. That ball was didn't
4
even
inches.
touch the line.
4 inches inside the line.
Let's play ball.
That was absolutely the worst call we've seen so far.
17 plays 18.
That was
17 serves 18.
That was bad.
I guess making up for those 3 points that he lost on the foot faults earlier.
Over.
Andy does a little Dave Chapman move there. Would you call that, Dave? Just kind of moved himself right in the line of that ball.
If he goes to the right and Emmett comes in with the left hand, then it's an avoidable.
17-18.
Oh.
And if he goes off to the other way, let's get Jesse Aranda's opinion, please.
I want his opinion on everything.
Oh,
and
look at that shot right there. Tying the game at 18.
That was a prayer that was answered right there, Dave.
There are people that aren't even associated with handball that are coming into this event and just eating the free food.
Well, they're enjoying handball, though, so it's sort of a double-edged sword.
Yeah, that's true. As you like to say,
18,
that's a Saturday.
18.
18 serves 18.
No. Emmett fortunate there. That was not a good shot.
His ball
Andy misjudged that ball off the right side wall. Not a good serve, a terrible return, and a nice finish there from Emmett.
What is Andy thinking on that?
Andy that's about the easiest serve you could get right there. Right hand, right in the middle of the court. That's a better serve. Andy does well with that, Dave, and Emmett's going to shoot that ball. It's a good shot. It's a good rally right here.
And look at that shot from Emmett Peixoto going to 20 now.
It's one of the best rallies we've seen during this match, Dave. Just real good,
20 plays 18.
Solid handball throughout that rally.
That's in.
Nice drive there. Let's see if he shoots this. Misses it.
There it is. Emmett Peixoto now goes to the finals to face either Luis Moreno or David Chapman, who's coming up next on this live webcast. Emmett Peixoto now defeating Andy Nett, closing out that Cinderella run for Andy Nett. Score of 21-15, 21-18.
Incredibly, Dave. Andy missing that shot at 18-20. He makes that pretty relatively easy kill shot there. He's into serve at 18-20. We could be looking at a different final matchup tomorrow.
Well, we could have at least looked at a tiebreaker opportunity. We are going to take a quick timeout. Dave Chapman and his recent foe, Luis Moreno, they played a few times on the four-wall court. We are going to be back to watch that one in about 15 minutes. You stick close here. WePlayHandball.com.